Hi, guys. Welcome back. We're going to continue talking about the evolution of the minifig, starting with 1999.
Yes, we just got to the end of 1998. So, hello, it's me, Mayo Hosko. This is part two of our stream talking about the evolution of the minifigure. I did the first hour. We covered some of the years from 1978 to 1998. The first 20 years. I decided to do part one for two reasons. One, because I hoped that some of my friends might be tempted to go right into Heather afterwards. Who knows? People in the replay game might do the same. And also because I'm more of a vintage guy, and Heather is a is more into the contemporary figs. Mhm.
So, are you going to be able to pull up the screen and I can share it for everybody?
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna share my entire screen so we can start out with the year 1999.
it's a good year before everybody went crazy for the Y2K stuff.
Yeah, you want to say hello to some people?
Yes, and we have our friends back over here. We got Cow Moo. Hello, welcome in. Oh, and the Lego Master, welcome. And Miss Dina, it's time.
Yeah.
Say hi to
So for
Zizou if he's lurking.
so for those who don't know, I asked Heather the three questions on my stream. So now I'm going to answer the three questions on her stream. So spring break has been absolutely fantastic. Um, I I have bought lots of Lego this week, and you can see that in a whole video on my channel. And as far as news goes, I over spring break I cleaned up my sitting and got all of the junk off of it. Also did some renovations in the garage, which will make managing my Lego collection easier. So that's
Yay.
my answers for the three questions. And now we're gonna kick off part two, looking at the figures from 1999. We're doing the evolution, so now we're doing the next 26 years. So you can see that the Octane races, they got some upgrades, but they still kept. Well, this torso is now, I think, more than 15 years old.
And they're still making it at this point.
And the first year of Lego Star Wars, there's Padme right there. You can see that the original licensed characters used the yellow heads, not uh, the flesh heads.
Right.
Then
Flipping
the
through
adventurers went from Egypt to the Amazon, so some of their torsos are slightly different.
these.
Star Wars got their own interesting designs for droids. The police and the firemen were consistent in the late 90s, as were these
Wow.
primo figures.
Hi, Richard Cranium. Welcome in. Hey, Clever Pig.
Yes, some of the folks from part one coming on over to part two. Nice.
Thank you, guys.
There's Qui-Gon. You can see those. The capes would change a lot on these figs. That's a new train
Right.
torso for 1999.
That is. I was actually interested in his face too. He's wearing glasses. It's a little different.
Yeah, just like these little spectacle glasses.
That trained torso looks new.
The X-wing pilots, they had their own torso. Some of the Star Wars figures, they reused some of the pilots' faces. The the mechanics finally got overalls with a wrench logo on them. Also had a
Wow,
zipper version,
this guy. You
and
going with the
there
villain though.
were different villains in the Amazon than in Egypt.
like the scar on the face and the menacing look.
So they classify this as a minifigure for Sebulba, but I think it's a molded fig in the same way that they molded the dragons, the crocodiles, the birds, the dogs, the cats. Yeah, so
Gomez.
they had a combination of some undershirts, ties, vests, and collars. Can see that they finally upgraded the shell torso to be have the more modern
Oh,
pockets and collars. And they changed the design for the civilian space. That's actually a chrome gold visor.
is that the first time they made that a chrome gold on that
For
face?
the space helmet, I think so. They did it for some of the other figs we showed. But you can see the difference in the spaceport torso compared to the launch commander torso. But we use that same hair from Space Police too.
Mm-hmm.
Got a red variant of that. Got a tied variant of that. The security guards got a slightly different one, and the Rock Raiders had some very cool torsos. Still had the Technic figs.
Right.
Some of the TV workers they got some upgrades. But coming back, there was more stuff for
That guy.
Amazon.
I
R-
have him.
RC really likes Archum.
I have him right here. You want to see his cape?
We can see that while we're scrolling. Yeah, so lots of Star Wars. There's the original R2D2 and some of the other astromech droids. Rock Raiders. There's trans neon green visors, which people like. I only have the Rock Raiders Bandit. Think there was a slight change for the bankers. I can't remember properly.
Belleville
Belleville
fairies. Those
doing it.
things were also a little weird. I think
Mm.
Suzu showed me those.
We talked about how creepy the Belleville figures were.
Big legs.
I think that's a slightly different design for the Coast Guard. More of the tinted blue shades. Trans blue visors again still had that newer style oxygen tank. But you can see that the X-Wing pilots had printing on their helmets.
Ooh,
There's the
Darth Maul.
original mole. And Darth Vader had that really interesting grey head. And you can see the older Darth Vader figures had a slightly different sculpting for the helmet. You can see that the Rock Raiders borrow some pieces from the Western.
They're cute.
Interesting faction of Duplo right there. Covered the second page. Winnie the Pooh.
That's the cutest Eeyore. What?
They were Duplo figures.
Oh man, I bet they're hard to get.
I think this is the second figure we've seen with the Lego logo, but this is on a Duplo one.
Like him.
Still had Extreme Team. Still had these grey fire suits. Still had that. I think that's the third generation of the Fire Chief. The original molding for the Scout Trooper helmet. Still had the insectoids going around. Still had those very American and patriotic racing torsos going around. Can see a slightly different design of a of a brimmed hat right there. The bomber jackets were still very used.
Green vest. Oh, here we have the
There's
Jar
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 Jar. Can
with
see
no
how
printing.
primitive. Exactly. All of this stuff, they had no printings on their molds yet.
Even Chewbacca, no printing. It's just brown.
There's the original
Luke.
original Luke. Look how primitive the original Luke Skywalker looked. Really weird.
The Ninja Master. Go back up and look at his hat for a second.
Whose hat?
That
It's a Ninja
the
Master.
yeah, it's just a piece. It's not like the rice hat that they made later on. And so I want you to take note of that because I just noticed that they used that modified piece, Lego piece, as a piece of headgear.
Yeah, they used a 2x2 parabola dish to represent the rice hat. It wasn't until the Lego Ninjago movie, I think, where we actually got. Well, no, sorry, it was Ninjago for Sensei Wu. We got a flat rice hat, and then for the Ninjago movie, we got a curved rice hat.
Yes, yep, you're right.
Still lots of stuff with chrome.
Hi, Seppi.
Look how primitive the original Obi-Wans were. So that was 1999. So we partied like it's 1999, and then Y2K came along. I think Alexa Sinister was a new character for Adventures. They went to the Dino Island. The Arctic used a very interesting Parker hat.
Yeah, it like was a neck gear or headgear piece, but it like went down their torso a
Yep,
little.
that Parker hat has changed a lot this century.
I like those headgear.
Slightly wider shades right there for the Arctic. Slightly wider shades. So they evolved the sunglasses print in multiple colors, and finally the baseball cap got a Star of Life on it for some of the medical employees.
Yeah.
Rock Raiders were still around. These weird Belleville fairies were still around. Belleville was still creeping. There's the original Boba Fett
He's worth a
and
lot,
the
isn't he?
original C3PO. Man, don't they look primitive now?
Excuse me.
The original Chewbacca has changed a lot. Studios came out, so we got some cameramen. There should be a Steven Spielberg type director down here. The Rock Raiders chief sells for a lot. The construction workers got a big upgrade this year. Now they have orange instead of blue, red, or white. Construction workers got big upgrades. So I'm just saying something. Yeah, the construction workers got big upgrades this year. There's the Steven Spielberg director.
I collected those director pieces for my boyfriend because he works in film. I had to find those and get those. They're from
Still
2000.
had these toadstools for the little forest friends. The Duplo minifigures got some big graphic upgrades this year. And even some more prevalence of those helmet pieces and a Duplo baseball cap. More of the clowns
Clown. That's
clowning
such a
around.
good one.
And
You
you notice that's a figure with red hair. Gonna point out every time we see red hair around here. And even some of the
Look at
Duplo figs
that.
got chrome.
I like that.
The
Oh, I love
original Emperor Palpatine.
her torso. It's one of my favorite torsos. I actually use it for one of my sig vids.
Mm. Yeah, she was one of the actors. She borrows the same face from Pippin Reed slash a Gale Storm in Adventurers.
His eyes are up there.
The firemen, they got an upgrade this year.
The mustache, isn't it? Just
They
kidding.
got upgrades, so they shifted towards grey fire suits in this era. Starting to notice more
A
studios
grip.
employees. That's a grip. I think that's the first time we've gotten sunglasses printing that wasn't on the face.
Right.
And the Gungans, they use the same mold as Jar Jar Binks. I think that version of Han Solo, that's an evolution of some of the collared torsos we've gotten previously. That's an evolution of the bomber jacket, if you will, for Han Solo. You can see how primitive these old Han Solos look now. Female Rock Raiders. And so now we transitioned away from the Fright Knights to Knights Kingdom 2 with these Bull Knights, had the Bull logo on their torso. And I think they borrowed some of the Shogun hats from from um from the car from the Castle Ninja. See, and they also borrowed that horn from the Islanders figs in 1994. More chrome. There's King Leo, actually a named king. I'm not sure which of these themes you're super interested in. Seems like
I love.
you're gravitating a lot to how the females they got upgrades.
Yeah. Whenever I see a girl, I'm quite intrigued.
Yeah, because
That
they didn't have a lot of female minifigures back then. That's why whenever I go back and watch for Bricks and Giggles reviewing stuff, she pays attention to how the female minifigures evolved over time because they got more upgrades at the end of the 20th century because they needed to because of all the graphics. How could you not?
yeah.
So the towards the end of the 20th century and at the start of the 21st century, the female minifigures they went gangbusters with the upgrades in their new graphics.
Yeah. As they should.
That's part of the reason why I like the 90s Lego so much because we got more diversity and um a better balance between the males and females because in the 80s you wouldn't know if a minifigure was male or female if you didn't identify with the female hair or
Yeah.
the male hair.
Yep.
They were more kind
You
of
put a hat on, you
we're more
couldn't
kind
tell at
of
all.
we're more kind of gender neutral and I think less relatable as a result.
Yes, I would agree. I became more intrigued with actually wanting to play with them when I knew I had different hair pieces after the pigtails.
Yeah, and we got the Mickey Mouse sets, which actually used these. That's why a lot of the Faberland pieces were around for longer than you might expect because they were in these Mickey Mouse sets, and
Uh,
that's technically that's kind of a throwback to some of the previous generations of the firemen.
it is. They put him in the jacket.
Hmm. And the Minnie Mouse got a bow tie. No, so sorry, she got a bow in her hair. I think that's the first. That might have been the first a mini peg or bar accessory inside of a hairpiece, or it might be. it might be dual molded. I can't quite tell. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Got the green ninja right there. The studios they got some new torsos, as did the adventurers for Dino Island. But they were still making the plain torsos. Now this
Sure.
one was used in some of the Tour de France sets. I know about that. They would actually include a sticker for the German telecom sponsorship.
Pink arms. I wonder
Yes.
why they decided to go with pink arms.
They made primo versions of Mickey Mouse. There's the original Princess Leia.
I feel like I have her, but I can't.
Now, and 2000 was when they introduced the race theme, and they included new graphics. So these were the crocodile races. Those were the scorpion
What?
races. Those were the
Tiger.
tiger. Those were the tiger races. More Star Wars stuff. Still had the Rescue minifigures. There's Santa.
Santa first appeared in 2000. That's crazy.
I think I think the original Santa minifigure might have been from 1997, but correct
Oh.
me if I'm wrong. Still had these NSFW Belleville stuff. A different style of the horizontal stripes for the soccer sets. Actual licensed printing right there. There's Zinedine Zidane, who was a French player, played for Real Madrid at the end of his career. There's printing for the Adidas logo. The goalkeepers got their own printing. But if I come down here, the green guys got horizontal hoops, but yeah, they were all the same. But one of the other teams reused those vertical stripes. You can see,
And they had numbers on the back. Yeah.
yeah, they had numbers on their back, and they included a whole bunch of faces.
So would this be like the first year they started printing on the back then? It's 2000?
That was in the year 1998. First time we got the reversible head was, I think, Professor Quirrell in 2001. But these soccer players, those were the most numerous figs from this era that had printing at the back because they had their numbers. And these soccer players with the blank torsos, that's because they came in a poly bag where you had a sticker sheet of the different countries' kits you could put onto their torsos. So that's what the French jersey used to look like, for example. Yeah, so just a whole bunch of plain stuff. Whole bunch of plain stuff. More stuff for the Technic figs, and the spaceport was still going. But then they got into these Technic competition cyborgs. That was an interesting time for Lego Technic.
Yeah. It's funky.
Still had that waiter, still had that TV. So that was 2000. Now we're gonna skip a little bit to 2003. Actual NASA licensing on their torso
Ooh.
for the Apollo missions. Star
AT-AT.
Wars Star Wars figures got much better printing in this era. That's Orient Expedition for adventurers. Got some new characters, some new printing. The NBA minifigures came out, so we got some new basketball pieces. I think this was the first time we got legs with springs in them, and that's the
And
first time of those extended arms meant to grip a basketball.
yeah, so what you would do is they would hold the Lego ball that they use in the great ball contraptions and like bring them with their springy legs backwards, and they actually could like throw the ball.
Yeah, so you could actually play a one-on-one a basketball game.
Ah, there's a creepy face headgear.
Yeah, by these times they got into a mode or a phase of graphic designs that had teeth that I've never liked this teeth printing. I've never liked it.
You know, it's funny is that's a thing. There's something called a phobia of sorts where you don't like teeth. Seeing teeth kind of creeps you out.
Yeah, and you can see that they finally upgraded the chef in this time. That's the second generation chef.
He's got a belly. You can see he's got a rounded top to his belly.
Yep, and we got into the four juniors with the
Jack Stone.
corresponding Jack. Well, Jack Stone was a sub theme of four juniors.
Okay, so it's four juniors, but what? So when you call these figs a certain fig, it's a four juniors fig.
Yeah,
Okay,
because some people just don't know. Jack Stone was a sub theme of four juniors, like how how Captain Crag and his pirates were a sub theme of four juniors. Spider Man,
yep.
we got some
Here's
Spider
one.
Man, and also this was when Town evolved in. Well, this was after. Well, this was when Town evolved from city center to world sitting. You can see that the train workers they got upgrades, and the Dr. Kilroy Charles Lighting he got an upgrade. Lots of upgrades for these Orient expeditions.
Draco
We
Malfoy.
finally got Harry Potter figs. There's the original Draco. He's changed a lot.
And then look at this rice hat again. They used a different piece.
Yeah, that's a 4x4 parabola dish
Yeah.
for a conical helmet. There's a bat. We use some of the pieces from Basil the Bat Lord. Not many people know about these
Duplo.
little robots, L- little robots, little robots, bum bum figures. Not many people know
No,
about that.
I don't. Where? What?
That was a
Those are
TV. That was a TV series that I grew up with. There's Tiny, the main character.
he's so cute.
He is. This was part of the Explore theme, which was under the Duplo.
Hey,
Um,
Cobra. Welcome in.
Big graphic designs for the Duplo figs.
Yeah, those
Or,
are fun.
so they got their own fireman torsos. Slightly different graphics. The police, they kind of got. Actually, I think they kept this design for a while. There's Emperor Chang Wu. I always liked that. Had two different styles of capes.
It was a two-piece.
Yeah, they were doing some Formula One sets at this time. There's the original Gamorrean guard that looks primitive now.
Yeah, I have him
Same with the
brown.
Geonosian. There's a Gonk droid. There's the original Green Goblin. Wow, that looks wow.
So hold on. Pause right here with this green racer. Oh, you're right here. That actually kind of reminds me almost like what they were trying to do with that last CMF series, where it was not really a minifig that you got. It was like the head and a helmet in a little car.
Yeah. So when I said that though that people were right to that people were right to reference those F1 collectibles to Happy Meal toys, the Drome races and the Zalix races is why, because Drome racer sets and Zalix racer sets were sold as Happy Meal toys as well.
Oh, now I see.
The old
Very
Harry
funny.
Potters,
And the
the
sand.
original Jabba the Hutt.
Look at that sand green.
Yeah, they eventually changed a Jabba the Hutt to olive green. Sand green looks very
Better.
primitive.
I love olive green more than sand green.
I like the olive green more, even though sand green's my favorite color. A Jabba the Hutt looks ugly in sand green, my opinion. So glad
Johnny
they
Test.
made, so glad they made the neoclassic versions of Johnny Thunder. So glad they did that. And there's the
Lando
first,
Calrissian.
yeah, there's the first black minifigure ever.
It's the first like flesh toned essentially
Yeah, because they
minifig.
couldn't, because it would be racist to make Lando with the yellow, and this is why, and this set off the domino effect for the next 21 years of the Lego minifigure with the flesh colors.
Mhm. As we should. We should have all different colors, honestly. I love the variety of colors. If we could have red and black and pink and blue heads, why can't we also have the skin tone?
I think unlike some of these Star Wars figs, the original Harry Potter minifigs kind of do stand up. They don't look as
Yeah,
primitive, in my opinion.
true.
Got some
Mary
turbans
Jane.
that I think Orient Expedition might have been the first theme. Well, there's a sub theme of adventurers might have been the first time we got the turban head. There's the original Mary Jane. Wow, hasn't she changed? Mm.
Yeah, she's crazy looking, but I like her.
For juniors, you can see that compared to the city center minifigures, the world city minifigures were much more detailed.
I like as a train worker,
That's uh uh
or she's
she could
just a
be
regular
she could
city
she
person.
could be used for a variety of tasks. Some of the unstickered NBA and some of the unstickered NBA basketball players, actual
No,
players licensed on actual minifigures. Sorry, on actual players. Dirk, actually, I'm gonna try to pick out any people. Allen Iverson, Hall of Famer. Chris Webber, Dirk Nowitzki, Gary Payton, Jalen Rose, Jason Kidd, they're Hall of Famers.
Kobe Bryant.
Um, Jason Kidd, Cole Malone, Kevin Garnett, RIP Kobe
Kobe.
Bryant. Um, yeah, Hall of Famers. I don't think Pau Gasol has entered the Hall of Fame yet. Paul Paul Pierce, he's a Hall of Famer. So over half, yeah, uh, Pedrock Stojakovic, Ray Allen, and Shaq. They're Hall of Famers. Got Steve
Two
Francis,
different Shaq.
Steve Nash, Tim Duncan. They're Hall of Famers. Tony Kukoc, Tony Parker. I forget if Tracy McGrady's in the Hall of Fame. Vince Carter, he's a Hall of Famer. And
Tina Dangles, Hall
they
of
still
Famer.
had, they still had the prehistoric um a necklace piece. They massively upgraded some of these necklaces.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
further on this century.
A
So
Yeti
they
hunter.
so this was almost 20 years old. That necklace.
And they
There's the
brought it back out. It probably made
uh,
it shiny, right? Metallic-y.
yes. There's the original Norman Osborn with the with the army haircut. The train workers got big upgrades in World City. There's the original Peter Parker. Wow, hasn't he changed?
Yeah, like his torso. Freaking Reed's still going.
You might notice that they kept some of these World City minifigure torsos into Lego City
Armored bandit.
for. They changed some of the police and the security guards. They got upgrades. Actual orange jumpsuits for the criminals. They changed the police badge. They still had these primo figs.
Finger puppet things.
Sort of. They would hook
Head.
on. They would hook on to the primo studs. They got printing on their helmets.
Princess
The
Leia
Cloud
Cloud
City.
City.
A few different variants of Princess Leia. Some of the races, they got some
His
upgrades.
Jungle Monster smile is, or no, that's his mask. Sorry, I thought he had a smile. It's creepy.
Some of
Oh,
these
there
guys had reversible faces. This was a townsman that had a jacket with a classic space torso. No, so logo to the right of his zipper. Some Spider-Man characters more oriented expedition. They really started using that skateboard helmet with the X Games Gravity Games sets for the sports theme.
oh, the skateboarding stuff.
You can see that the face printing for the skeleton got an upgrade.
We got evil. So before that, he was all smiley. Now they made an evil one.
I don't think the Snow Trooper helmets changed all that much. There's the original Spider-Man.
Oh, that's the Spider-Man somebody asked us about the other day that's worth like $150 with the racer helmet, or he doesn't even have headgear, but those pants and his headgear are common. It's just the torso that's rare.
Upgrade to the suit and tie. And there's the Lego Island, the extreme stunts part of the Lego Island, the Brickster borrowed the grey knit cap, borrowed borrowed a face from someone else, borrowed the Jailbreak Joe torso, but actually had a blue. Well, actually, I think that might have been the first figure with two different colors of hands.
Oh, it is. Why?
So moving on to 2005, we moved on from World City to just City, but they kept some of these 20th century torsos still around, like these pilots. There's the
Wow.
original, and so there's now we're getting the flesh colors for these licensed characters.
Anakin Skywalker and his bloody face.
There's first Batman.
More, their Belleville's still here with the fairies?
Yeah, the Belleville didn't get retired until 2008.
Jeez, that went on way longer than I would have expected.
The Bionicle theme, they got some minifigures. We're 4 years into the Bionicle theme here.
They're kind of cool little miniatures. That way, if you didn't get the actual Bionicle build, you could get the little figurines.
But they still kept they still kept the Generation One chef around,
Yeah, and right
side by
underneath of it,
side,
yeah.
with the Gen Two.
Huh.
So you can see
I
how
like.
much 20+ years makes a, a
Yeah.
difference.
Look, his mustache got bigger, and so did his belly.
Mm. Clickett's Clickett's got some minifigures.
What is this? Clickets?
Yeah, well, Clicken and Bricken did a themed episode when they used to do those about Clickets, because I think it was Clever Pig that suggested the Clickets theme to them.
Oh, I need to watch that. Oh, look at him.
Finally
Little
getting
scout
some
trooper
clone,
episode 3.
finally getting some Clone Wars figures into Star Wars.
Awesome.
Big upgrades to their printing, and they finally got prints on their. Some of the troopers finally got prints on their helmets. The construction workers changed again. That's about the fifth or sixth generation of the construction torso. Darth Vader again, just a tiny bit of printing upgrades with his lightsaber. The Death Eater version
Mm,
of
let me see
of
this little boy.
um of Mr. Malfoy. Got some Dino Hunters for Dino Attack. All of you Dino fans might like these Dino Attack figs.
I do. He's pretty nice looking.
Much different from the Dino theme in 2012 and the Jurassic figures. Much different. Still had that style of life. That's a 90s torso they reuse, but that's a new
Ah,
torso
cool
for
stuff.
for the stethoscope.
The buttons all the way on the side. I like that.
I have no idea why they count the Duplo Bob the Builder characters as minifigures. That seems wrong. That's a vehicle. Big
Oh,
upgrades.
what is the hair?
Big upgrades to the Duplo figures. Actual Trolls dolls style hair there.
It's like My Little Pony.
My little.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, and my little Heather, I'm so glad you're my friend.
These are crazy. I never would have. And now we're over to plastic hair.
Yeah,
But these ones are a little different.
That's Wendy from Bob the Builder.
Oh, gotcha. Ooh,
Duplo got some
castle.
castle figures.
Nice.
See, they use that style of life for a lot of things. Got some slight changes to their hair as well. There's Bob from Bob the Builder. And I don't know why
Oh,
they count the Duplo Thomas the tank um engines as minifigures, or the Bob the Builder vehicle characters, but they do.
that means they
There's
also
Thomas
would
the
have.
tank engine rolling along. All of his friends will be coming along. Thomas, we love you.
They
He's a
also count
really
all the Cars characters too. Cars Disney movie characters as minifigures.
yeah. He's the really useful engine. He's the one. He's the one. He's the number one Thomas the Tank Engine.
Toby.
Tobin is a
Oh, jeez.
square. He's a steam train. I always liked these Duplo rolling stock for the troublesome trucks. I always liked that because it was like those were like the equivalent of the 4x3 crates you saw in a lot of the adventure sets.
Where's Cow? He likes trains. Yeah, where is Cal? Moo!
They still kept that second generation fire torso around to contrast with
Moo.
the next generation of fire torsos.
I feel like we
They got
still see
a lot
these
of changes.
now.
Uh, they've made slight modifications over the past 20 years. There's General Grievous.
Grievous.
There's another Gonk droid.
Look at Harry.
More Harrys. Look how
Oh,
weird Hermione's face used to look.
oh, I don't like that. I don't
That
like.
hasn't aged well.
Mm-mm.
The stormtroopers without the helmet holes.
So,
These were some of the the rainbow colored knights for Knights Kingdom 2.
basically.
There's King Matthias, who replaced King Leo, had slightly different torso printings, still had that same cloth cape, and still had a chrome crown. And there's the chess version of the king. Had
Nestle
these weird
promotional.
promotional versions of Knights Kingdom 2, all solid color. Very adventurous with the Knights Kingdom 2 figs. Unlike any other castle theme I can
He looks
think
like
of.
Johnny Thunder. Johnny,
Yeah, that
this
yeah,
guy right
that's
here.
that's the same face.
Johnny Thunder went and joined a kingdom, guys.
And finally we got some of the speckled pieces in
And
Knights Kingdom 2.
is this the first time that armor's been no, the first year it's been upgraded to look like this?
I think Knights Kingdom 2 was the first theme, which was sold from 2004 to 2007, 2004 to 2006, to come with the speckled armor,
I like it.
which they carried over into the Fantasy Castle era. Um, um, I think Harry Potter was the first theme to have a glow in the dark head.
I
But
thought that.
correct me if I'm wrong about that. Mace Windu, another black character, emphasizing the need for the flesh heads. Well, we're coming. Well, you know what, Heather? I think we're going to have to do a part three
I think so.
in in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Whenever you next do your fortnightly Friday night streams, this might have to be a part three.
There's so many minifigs, and I agree because I'm not gonna cut this short for nothing.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to make a part three. Oh, look at that mer person.
Harry Potter mermaids. This is very outdated mermaid by comparison to stuff like we saw in Pirates of the Caribbean, which we will have to cover in part three, the Pirates of the Caribbean
Part
mermaid.
I'm not understanding is why it has flesh colored hands, but the face is not.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
Should be
And
gray or it
so
should be green.
And so you're not seeing is the pigtails or the part in the middle female hair anymore, but you are starting to see more of the weave mold of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, another primitive looking Obi-Wan. They've still kept that Octan torso around, but you can see some of these new face printings. See what I was talking about with the weave here? Mm,
You can actually see like strands of it there instead of it being a
yes,
flat.
because they
Yeah,
reused that from Hermione.
Mary Jane.
And Alpha Team was still doing its thing. I think this was the last year of Alpha Team. Ogle was still trying to. Well, at this time, Ogle was trying to freeze the whole world. Ogle is one of the coolest named characters ever because
Uh,
Ogle is Lego spelt backwards.
yeah,
And he had that
there's
really nice trans light blue helmet and a skeleton head and two different colors of legs underneath his waist. But but look how goofy some of these early wave city set faces were. That's more casual looking sunglasses right there. But yeah, doesn't this? But don't these construction overalls look kind of outdated now?
yeah.
Mm.
They're trying to.
More of that teeth, which is awkward. The police got upgrades this year. The criminals got upgrades. Security guards got upgrades. And we're getting into Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Some of these face printings, they don't hold up. Got another Santa. Still more stuff for Dino Tech. I think this might have been the last year that we're going to cover on this list where the skeletons had the floppy hands.
Look at his legs, though. What was
Yeah,
up with those legs? They're like droid arms. Go one more. Up,
yeah, they
almost
used the droid arms as legs for some reason.
arms as legs.
Arms as legs. Must have been hanging upside down from
Right.
somewhere. They still had this sailboat tour. So there's the first Joker.
He's nice.
The Joker
He,
has changed so much over the years.
he
The
even has.
Vikings, the
He even has.
Vikings, they got the speckled treatment.
He has yellowed teeth. That Joker.
Yes, he got teeth printing.
And they're yellow.
The older Vikings with the historically inaccurate horns. I think there's one more slide here for 2005, and then we'll have to carry this over to a part 3 in 2 weeks' time. There's
There's
the Viking King had the had the metallic gold instead of the speckled silver.
Victor Crumb. Victor Crumb.
Had a shark head.
Yeah.
A
Ooh.
Wookiee warrior. You don't see stuff like that anymore. And there's a different style of there's a Brickster's henchman, and there's Pepperoni, one of the best named characters ever. Sky Lane, also a named character. There's a female. They kept that. They still had the part in the middle here, and that's actually a green backpack she's carrying
I like her torso though. Her torso's my fave.
with some of the flowers, and you can barely see
Belly
her
button.
belly button at the bottom.
Yeah, I love that.
And
Then
yeah, that was the end of 2005. So I will have to remember 2008. Um, I'll have to remember 2008, 2010, 2011, 2014, 2017, 2020, and then the years after that. Um, every year from 2020 afterwards.
yes.
Yes, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. We covered a lot of years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was a lot. I feel like my brain is now loaded with information. It's gonna be really handy for my life. I mean, but I work with minifigs, so it really is handy. Learned so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing the newer stuff because that's when I think Lego started really kicking their game with all the CMFs and all the BAM parts. It's like they got crazy. Where I feel like in the past, you almost had to get some sort of set to get a minifig, right?
Yeah, because they didn't because outside some of the polybag minifigures that we saw that really started to gain traction in the late 90s, the cheapest way you could buy a minifigure was in like a set that cost less than $5. Glad they eventually came out with the minifigure packs of 5 or 6 that was just the minifigure, kind of a precursor to the Fun With and the starter set from City that we get these days.
Right.
Even more
Yeah.
of a and those polybags with minifigures that they really went strong within the late 90s onwards was kind of a precursor to the CMFs, which came out in 2010, which is one of the years we'll be looking at on part 3. And I'm thinking, since there's over 4,000 minifigures we'll have to scroll through in part 3 because of all the figs from 2008 to 2025. There's well over 3,000.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna
Um,
be so much fun.
yeah, we might have to do another two part in 2 weeks in 2 weeks time just to get through all of them.
I love it though. I'm down. That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, so we'll probably have to do a part 3 on my channel at the same time in 2 weeks, and a part 4 on your channel in the same time in 2 weeks, just to get through those 3,000 plus figs from the last
Right.
17 years.
Well, if anybody ever needs a crash course in learning, it's like a 4-part special. That's beautiful. Love it. Wow, that was fun. How's
It
everybody in
was.
chat? Anything that stuck out to you that you found out that was interesting today? We talk about it in chat or talk more about it next time. You're up way past your bedtime, Dina, but we love that you stayed so long.
Yeah. RC, who was in chat earlier, he likes the vintage space guys as well.
Dina needs to get her some Duplo clowns, I think, because there were a lot of cute little clowns in there. So they're going to be a little tricky to get our hands on, but they are so cute.
We can end this stream whenever you want to.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if give anybody a chance to say anything about some of their figs they may have liked before I say good night to my friends. He's still watching the live on half speed, so Zuzu's going to take a while to catch up because I guess we went a little too fast for him. It's okay. Did you hear that? There are over 3,000 more left to get through Zuzu. So next time, just drink a lot of coffee. I'm gonna have 2 cups next time, and then we'll get through them. We'll get through them quickly, but you'll be able to keep up. But anyways, I hope everybody had fun tonight because I did. I love minifigs, and I hope you guys tune in next time. So
Yeah.
see you guys in 2 weeks.
So what I'll have to do is when YouTube allows me, I will have to edit the description to copy paste my normal description, but I'll copy paste the same format that I did when I was streaming with with Hobbeam, to include links to your channel in my description, um and um and probably for the Instagram link, I'll include the one for the minifigure club. That's what I'll probably do for you.
I love it. All right. right. And Johnny Jeebus, I already have a glow in the dark ghost. But all right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging out. Love you
See
guys.
ya.
Ta ta for
Bye.
now. Bye.